Get a Job in Tech, episode 322. Japanese concepts that can transform the way that you work. In Japan, for those of you who maybe you didn't work in Japan, so what I can tell you about Japan is it's a hierarchy. It really matters what your title is into the environment. Let's say for instance you're at work and you usually you don't leave work until your manager leaves. I know that sounds weird, but that's how their culture is. And then the other thing is, if you're having food or you're having drinks, let's say with your coworkers, whoever the manager is, usually if you like toast or raise your glass or something like that, your glass will be lower than their glass, essentially. So it's kind of like a respect. And there's some bowing involved as well. And anyway, so that's that. So Japanese concepts that can transform the way that you work. Number one, wabi sabi. Wabi sabi celebrates the beauty of imperfection. And how do you put it in practice? When you make a mistake at work, don't try to hide it. Instead, acknowledge it and learn from it, and then move on. It shows a growth mindset and helps to build trust. Number two, Ikigai, which is pronounced Ishinai, and which translates into English, purpose of life. It's a reason for being. It helps you find your purpose by finding the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. How do you put it in practice? Say yes to doing things that light you up. Use your skills and add value to the world. Basically, if you can imagine a intertwine, basically like a braided cord, if you will, and what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, what you can do to get paid for it. And you wrap all that up, and the string, so that's a bunch of strings, and you wrap it into one string, essentially. The next one is Kaizen. You may have heard about Kaizen. It's a very popular way of doing things. Very, very popular. Kaizen is about making small and incremental changes. How do you put it in practice? You set small, achievable goals every week that focus on improving a specific skill or process at work. And 1% better each day equals 37 times better at the end of the year. And what we think it means every day is perfect. What it actually means is one day you could be great, 100%. The next day you could be 10%. The following day you could be 20%, and so on and so forth. Basically, you're just making it 1%. You're making yourself or making the progress 1% each day. The next one is Kintsugi. K-I-N, which Kintsugi translates to, in English, gold repair. It's Kintsugi. Is the art of repairing broken pottery with gold, making it more beautiful and unique than before. How do you put it in practice? Prepare your failure stories with gold and proudly share them. The gold in your story is the lesson you learned and the result you experience as a result, and the growth you experience as a result. The next one is Shiboi, which stands in English. It stands for, or it translates to, austere, and it's pronounced, or how you spell it, is Shibui. It's an appreciation of understated beauty and simplicity. How do you put it in practice? In your presentations or written communications, focus on clarity and simplicity. No less is more. Use clean slides and fewer but more impactful words. The next one is Ma. Ma is a space between things, the silence in a conversation, the pause between musical notes, or the gaps in a room's design. How do you put it in practice? You create spaces or conscious pauses in a day. For example, before meetings, phone calls, or your daily tasks, take a few moments of silence to gather your thoughts and recharge. The next one is Ichigo Ichi. It's a one-time, one meeting. It's a reminder to treasure each encounter, each moment as unique and one that cannot be recreated. How do you put it into practice? In a meeting or networking situations, be fully present. Put away all distractions and make people around you feel fully heard and valued. The next one is gaman. It means maintaining dignity and grace in tough situations with patience and perseverance. How do you put it into practice? When you face a difficult situation or adversity, don't react impulsively. Take a moment to center yourself and respond thoughtfully. And some of these are just things to live by. The Kaizen's probably the one that stands out the most in their culture. You probably have noticed when some cultures there, they go from, in the Japanese culture, it's very much structured. It's very much a, let's sit down, let's have a talk, let's talk about it, let's improve. It only if you're in the inn, you're in the inn. Other than that, they try to avoid they try to avoid conflict essentially, because there's a face value, so you don't want to lose face essentially. In some of these countries, you probably know about this. A lot of Asian countries are like this. Matter of fact, a lot of countries are like that. U.S. is unique, and it's not too much. Where if you go out to a restaurant or a meeting, with coworkers, you're not going to leave before you're going to leave before the manager in the U.S. Whereas in Japan, like I said, in Japan they don't typically do that, and obviously you do get perks working there because you can take lunch breaks and they value their time, and they're not too much into they're more into experiences than buying toys or gadgets, things like that. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.